I was there when I had to get up and change channel to TV.
Really?
Anyway, sorry. I missed the 8-track tape phase though. My mom had 8-track tapes, but it was past the heyday of the 8-track tape.
You were born in the 70s, so you were born, there was only
Yeah, I was a little too young to get involved in the disco scene.
Oh,
Do you
Anyway,
have
so
a pager?
Didn't TV used to
I had a pager.
everyone had pages.
I had a pager.
I love those. They're
The
so-
phones were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then suddenly they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you had a concert now, and somebody's got their whole freaking,
Tablet.
let me record it.
That's because we could put video on it. That's when we realized, oh, the screen big, we could put
Yeah,
video on phones.
exactly. All right, sorry. That was all kind of part of the lecture. Okay. All right, some of you guys are just tolerating me. I love that. Okay, so here's the idea with chapter 12. So there could be, do you all agree with me that, for example, the amount of water that I give to a plant, could that affect how tall it gets?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a correlation between those two variables. One variable is the amount of water I give to a plant, so that can go anywhere from 0 to whatever, right? And the other variable is how tall the plant gets. Or you can talk about how many tomatoes the tomato plant gives me. Are you guys with me? Do you all agree with me that if I give it too little, that's biting? If I give it too much, so that's biting. So if you ever had a plant at home, the worst thing you do is overwater it because it's very hard to come back. And yes, I say water like that. Water. H2O. So what we're about to get into is something called correlation analysis. So the biggest mistake people make with correlation is they think that it means something causes something else. So for example, there is a correlation between height and playing basketball. Would you agree?
But correlation is not causation.
So I could say, interesting, so playing basketball makes somebody taller. Now, that's dumb, yes? That's a silly thing to come to, but we see that kind of misinterpretation with data all the time. And very often you'll see people like politicians, you'll see all kinds of people trying to use the general populace's misunderstanding of correlation against us. So two things happen at the same time does not mean one caused the other one. It just means they happen at the same time. So this is true. What I'm about to say is true. When teacher pay goes up, liquor sales go up.
Two completely unrelated
So,
things.
could there be somebody in the news going, well, teachers are a bunch of booze hounds. So that is a very true thing I just said. Does that necessarily mean that teachers are all drunkards?
No.
No, they are.
People
but
writing the laws in this country would believe it.
No. What happens if teacher pay goes up? What probably happened also?
Higher wages for a lot of people. The economy
Probably other wages went up also. What happens when people's wages go up?
discretionary.
They can suddenly pay rent and they have a little extra for stuff they normally go, a little luxury. I'm gonna get myself some rum chocolate or whatever it is.
Stuff's
Rum
extra.
chocolate?
Good choice.
Most of us are
It's not
underage.
acquired taste, huh?
Most of us are underage.
If you're underage, just, you can hear about it, it's fine. It's not- you have to-
Wait,
well, you're
excuse
like,
myself,
you know.
Mr. Waller.
You said underage. Most countries you can drink at 18, just not this one.
Alright, okay.
Statistically.
Sorry.
That's okay. So all a correlation does is it shows me that there's a relationship between two variables. So for another example that actually seems to have some relevance, I haven't done this with you guys this semester because I haven't had the time. But most of the time what I'll do is I'll take the number of homeworks that people do versus their grade. And what I'll almost always get, I should have printed out an example of this, but too bad for me. So let me see if I can get you guys to understand this. That's basically my job. I'll graph the number of homeworks people have done versus the grade they've made. And my students call it the blue measles because it's a bunch of little blue dots. So I'll see a pattern like this.
So it's got.
And then I get somebody over here. So this is the number of homeworks people have done and their overall grade, not including homework. Is there a trend?
Yeah, up and to the right.
Yeah, it looks like it's going up, right? These are my outliers. These are the people who are doing homework, but then not doing very well on the test. You with me? So these people are not doing well. Okay. Very often this will be like if I have a class, sometimes I'll make online homework optional. I hate online homework, but I sometimes make it optional. It's almost always these people right here, right? Some of them are doing it good. Maybe that person did online homework, but everybody over here did online homework. Okay. You guys semi with me? So there's a relationship between number of homeworks done and grade somebody has. Does that mean that doing more homework makes your grade go up? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That could just mean there's a third variable in the background. What kind of student does more homework and does better in the class? A good student. A student that goes for tutoring, a student that watches videos, or a student that has frickin' time, right? I was a good student, I think, but I didn't have time. So it didn't always translate to the grades, right? So I can understand about not having time to do stuff. Are you guys at all with me? Just because I see when one variable goes up, so does the other, or the other relationship, that does not mean I have a clue what is causing what. I don't know which way that goes. Or in the case of the teacher with the booze, or the homeworks and the grades, there could be a third variable in the background that's not even on the picture. That third variable in this case being a student who just does good student shit, right? Or has time to do good student shit. You with me? Okay, maybe. Okay, so what I've got are some better pictures than this, thank God. Let me give you this. So the reason I was talking about when I started working here is because when I applied for a job here, I had to record a lecture and I used the camcorder, of course, because we didn't have phone stuff yet quite then. And I recorded this lecture, and this lecture is all about. Very sorry for those of you who are too young to drink, but this is all about drinking beer. Cool.
It's great.
There's a lot of options out there for those of you who haven't.
Yeah, there's
Mixed drinks,
Non-alcoholic
shots.
beer?
there's like
Apple cider.
There's dessert drinks like
virgin stuff without alcohol. in it.
There's like dessert drinks like Kahlua. You got whipped cream and stuff like holiday themed stuff. And
Well, that's terrible, because then you don't even notice how drunk you're getting.
that's the best part. You can't even taste the alcohol, and you can't walk.
Alright, Martin.
That sounds so fun.
In Europe, they drink hot wine like in the afternoon on a street because it's cold in the winter. So you want to have hot wine.
There's so many better ways of spending your free time.
That's not all I do. Just because this guy's like,
I don't want to know
it's my
everything.
free time, and he's like, let's go study. I'm like, all right, where? He's like, at a brewery. I'm like, this was your idea.
You wanted to go study at a what's it called?
Until you go to a brewery,
Yeah.
you will never understand.
This is true.
We have to study
We didn't get much done.
to study
But
stats
You
at
can
a
do
brewery.
so much.
Yeah.
Again, you're never gonna
So
understand
much
unless you go.
except for the homework.
Yeah, no, there was food. There was beer.
This-
It was good. And they had a deal on the beer, so.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
You're not helping.
So
If
this-
you won't even remember it.
I just go for the food, okay?
Guys, this is not a request or a suggestion on an experiment to run. I just want to put that on camera.
Yes, it is.
If there was a really early morning, what did I say here, 7 a.m. test
Good gosh.
the next day, and a bunch of students go out drinking the night before,
It's not gonna go well.
the amount somebody drinks, do you think that could have an effect on how they do on the test?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you understand these two plots here?
One looks random and one has a trend.
Well, this has a trend also. Does anyone agree with me? There's a trend here. Yeah, there's still a trend. It still looks like it's going down. Are there outliers here?
Yes.
Yes. Which relationship is stronger?
On the right.
This one's stronger. Why did you say that's stronger? What about it makes it stronger?
No outliers. Uniform.
No outliers, huh?
The beta place or.
Yeah, they said it. You said it back
It sounded like somebody said uniform.
Uniform?
Yeah.
Oh, uniform. Is that what somebody said? Are you looking for this?
Yes.
Did I miss you?
Yeah, I ran to the bathroom and I ain't go.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Yeah. All right, let me. Come on. How do you know, which 2 points here are obvious outliers?
The one over there, one over
Yeah, who is this person? Did they drink a lot?
here.
No.
Did they do well?
No.
No. So this is the person that it didn't matter how much they drank. They were not ready for the
That's
test.
sad.
Who is this? Who is
He
this?
had a bad time and he
That, dude's,
failed.
that person is Chad, because they drink a bunch and still go.
Who is this person?
That person has his metabolism on point.
They have a strong liver.
This person can handle
That's the
handle their
drunken
boots, and they still made it so they made a good grade.
Oh, it's like Jackie Chan, the more you drink, the
Can you
more
go
you
like this?
understand stats.
And he got it.
Oh yeah, drunken,
That's a great
drunken
The brewer.
stats master. All right, so again, not requesting you to experiment with this. You can take it.
The veterans in the class like.
I want to see you come in for the final.
Why you have that bottle? Don't worry about it.
Why did you give me 2 finals? Do the one in the middle.
Just cover one
I
eye.
can't
So-
read my calculator.
Why are these outliers?
Data variability.
They didn't go with the trend.
Does everybody agree with the line I drew?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Roughly, I mean, that's a good, so, and can you draw a line here? It's a lot easier to draw a line here, correct? That line that we're drawing, what the hell is that?
Trend line, right?
Sure. So that kind of captures the trend, but there's more to it. That is this is so cool, that is a 2-dimensional average. That is the average of all the points. Okay, you guys kind of with me? Now you could have, we're not going to do that, we're going to focus on linear correlations. You could very easily have parabolic, like quadratic correlations. You could have logarithmic correlations. You can have exponential correlations. We're going to focus on freaking linear correlations, okay? So the one on the right is stronger because the points are all tighter to the line that represents the trend, okay? So like somebody said, this one seems a little more random, this one's definitely more scattered, these points get further away from their trend line, so this is weaker. I like it. Would you say this is a positive or a negative correlation?
Negative.
Yeah, why?
Because it's going down.
Yeah, it's got a negative slope. That's cool. As the number of beers goes up, what's the grade do?
The grade goes down.
Goes down. So this is just like slope in algebra. As the x variable goes up, the y variable goes down, that would be a negative slope. I love it. Okay. So we want to come up with, it kind of makes sense. Let me see if you guys are cool with this. Does everybody kind of get what I mean by that's an average? That's sort of like a visual average. That one I didn't do so well with. Why is that one not as good? What's wrong with that line? Can you guys see?
It's not on the points that it could.
Yeah, there's a few too many points below it. It should kind of average out the position of all the points. So, which collection of points, and this is a quick answer, which collection of points gets further away from its average? Yeah, the first one, right? This one gets further away from its average, which means there should be a number we can calculate, or that we can ask our very expensive calculator to calculate for us, that would represent kind of like a 2-dimensional standard deviation. How far away from the center line do all the points get? You guys still with me? This is such a cool idea, right? So this one, whatever number represents the standard deviation, this one will be different than that one because that's stronger. Yeah.
Would that standard deviation be lower?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And we'll see why we got to do something different with this number in a minute. Right now, what's different with these correlations? Are they negative or positive?
Positive.
Positive. This is our study versus grade. Do you guys notice? Just to say, this is all I'm going to say about something that's not linear. Do you see how this would be more like a curved?
Yeah.
But this is still kind of roughly linear, correct?
Yeah.
This would definitely be more of a curvy relationship. Are you with me? But I can still kind of draw a straight line sort of down the middle. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, there's outliers. If you sort of ignore them, you can see the trend even better. Yes?
Yep.
So there's a trend here. Maybe it goes like this. Normally when I do it quick, I do a better job. Who's this person? What'd they do?
They didn't study it.
Didn't study.
Didn't study barely at all.
But got a good grade.
But they got a good grade.
They
Right?
either
This
know the
person that
subject
comes
or
to the final, they open the book, go, right? It's like, did you open the book? No,
It's in the
didn't
course.
open that. This could be the person that's taking it for the third time, possibly.
Or they
right?
cheated.
Or, yeah, who knows? Who's this person?
They studied a lot, but they didn't get a good
They
grade.
studied a lot.
They don't understand.
They didn't make a very good grade. So it could be they're not sure how to study, it could be a lot of things, yeah.
How do you know that they didn't, like, they lied?
That's not what I mean. I'm not saying they lied.
Oh.
I'm just saying very often students don't really know what study means. When I ask them, what do you do to study? And it's like, I stare at this one problem for a while, or I do these 5 problems over and over, or something. I'm like, no, it's not studying. So it's always interesting to find out what students think studying is. But all that aside, this person could have studied exactly this much, could have done it perfectly well, and they just couldn't quite get the material. That's not impossible. Especially nowadays that we're not allowed to teach the prerequisite stuff for a lot of classes. Okay. So I can't really, anyway, enough of that. I don't want to go down that road. You guys kind of with me? So again, which one would be stronger, of course?
Left.
This one is stronger, this one's weaker. Which one's more true to life? Which one's probably more reality?
The one on the right.
This one's probably more reality. In reality, we normally get a lot more variability. Are there other variables that could affect your grade besides the study, the hours you study?
Sleep, stress, diet, classes,
Drinking the night before, for example, right?
number of classes you're taking,
Number of classes, all kinds of shit.
your likeness for your professor.
Sure.
It's not a word, likeness.
Yeah, how big of an asshole your professor is. Yes. You guys all with me? So, one big drawback to the linear correlation stuff we're going to be doing is we can only do 2 variables at a time. When in reality, how many variables affect something?
Almost.
I'm ready.
Okay. You guys get the idea of the grounding here?
We always do 2 variables at a time.
No. I mean, there are more advanced tests that you can do however many variables you want at a time. When would that happen, kids? That's 2 that we don't teach. Okay. What would this correlation be? Is it positive or negative?
Unknown.
Unknown.
Yeah, a great guess would be no correlation. So here's the trick. It's not quite the same as our normal standard deviation, but I love the idea that if you think of the line, it's called the line of best fit, by the way, which is an awesome name, is what I would call it, and it's the actual name. The line that best fits the data is called the line of best fit. The further the points get away from that, that is kind of like a 2-dimensional standard deviation. Are you with me? We're not going to, what we want to do is, I want the value for this to be 0. That would mean no correlation. I want the value for this one to be -1, and I want the value for this one, or not -1, but close to -1. And I want the value for this one to be close to 1. So the 3 extremes that could happen would be no correlation, perfect positive correlation. Do you see why that's perfect positive correlation? Because they perfectly line up. Or perfect negative correlation. So the letter we use to represent what I think of as the 2-dimensional standard deviation, we use the letter R for a regression coefficient, or how do I say this? Pearson coefficient or Pearson product. There's a lot of different names for it. It's the correlation coefficient is what I call it, is R. So here R would be 1, here R would be -1, and here R would be 0. So it's not like a standard deviation in the values, because this could be negative, right? But the negative tells me that it's going down instead of up. It could only be at most 1 or -1.
This is a lot like we're not going to do it in this class, but the elasticity of demand. It's like a it's a fancy formula, but the result you get can only be between 0 and 1, and depending on where it falls, it tells you a lot about
There's another good example of
the data.
something we constructed to do a specific thing. So real quick, if I had to guess what this one was, it's close to -1. I would guess this was like -0.9 or something.
How'd you get that?
Is it perfectly?
No.
No. But is it really far away from being perfect? No.
No.
So if I had to guess, and this is a pure guess, I would guess -0.9. What would you guess this one to be?
-5.
-0.5?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good guess. It's definitely a decently far away from being perfect, correct? But you can still see the trend. You with me? But it's definitely not a very strong trend. Okay. You guys actually with me? So there's two things. And what's really funny about those two things, what did I say a long time ago? Whenever I give you a new distribution, we want to be able to calculate two things. The mean, standard deviation. So here, the line of best fit is the mean, and the R is the standard deviation. So it's still the same two things. The beautiful thing about this section, which I think you'll really appreciate, this is the one section where I have no problem letting the calculator do all of the calculation stuff. And let me just show you. Let me see if we can find it very quickly. Here is the formula for R, for
Waller,
example.
what's the official name for R?
Correlation coefficient. That's what I call it. It's also called the Pearson product. Let me see what the book calls it. Yeah, the book calls it correlation coefficient, which is good because that's what I call it.
Oh.
You can see why it's called the Pearson product. So here is the formula, right? Let me zoom in on this. I want this really.
My hand.
I want you to have a nightmare about this stuff.
Oh, it wasn't made by the textbook. It was made by Carl Pearson.
It was made by Carl Pearson.
You're telling me
Did his descendant make the company for the textbooks? I bet he did.
So this is the formula for figuring out the R for a set of data. So
It makes sense, kind of.
I'm going to get two sets of data, correct?
Yes.
For example, number of beers a student drank, grade they make on the next day test, yes? So that's what the X's are, that's what the Y's are. So if I wanted to make you do this by hand, you would have an X column, you would have a Y column, you would have an X times Y column, yes? Then you have the sum of X, Y's, see the sum of X, Y's?
Yep.
So I'm not going to make you do this.
oh, thank you.
But you can see how that would work. Now, why do I not mind not making you do this? Because you get lost in this shit and the concept is gone and it's just busy work. What I want you to realize though is this. This piece is related to the standard deviation of X. This piece is related to the standard deviation of Y. That makes sense that it's a part of the R equation because R is like a two-dimensional standard deviation. So it's got the X standard deviation, it's got the Y standard deviation, both in there. The top one is about how X, Y together vary. So this whole thing is about variation of the variables. So that's why this is a two-dimensional standard deviation. We just standardized it to come out to be -1 to 1. Okay, enough of that. Yes.
Is 1 and -1, that's like perfect, that's where you want to be.
And -1 is perfect negative correlation. That means the data points line up perfectly from your perspective on a negative slope.
Okay.
Okay. Now, real quick. Does every straight line mean perfect correlation?
No.
No. So, I could have, so you never have to look at that equation again unless you want to. So here is a perfect straight line of data, yes? Sorry, I'm zoomed in a lot. That is that's zero linear correlation is what that is. So why is that true?
Because there's no slope on the There's no slope on the line.
If the X was how high I jump and the Y was how tall that tree is. If I jump, you guys all with me. This is Jeff jumps. This is tree height, yes?
That has nothing to do with anything.
If I jump this high, how tall is the tree? Okay. If I jump twice as high, how tall is the tree?
It hasn't changed.
Oh, the tree doesn't.
So, this is a quick little side note. Not every straight line of data means perfect correlation. This actually means no correlation. In fact, as X changes, does Y give a shit? No. So if I had a line like this, as Y changes, does X care? No. So that would be zero correlation. So correlation is all about as one changes, does it seem as if the other one changes correspondingly? That would mean that they're somehow related. Now again, related. I don't know causation.
So if the graph actually looked like positive slope of 1,
Yes.
we still can't say for certainty that there's correlation between the two?
No, there's correlation.
Okay.
I just can't say if one is causing the other.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, let's say this is the number of hours somebody takes my class, and this is the grade they make on an SAT or something, and they get like this, right? This is the perfect correlation. Does that mean that my class caused them to have a higher SAT? Nope. Could I show data and make people think that? Yes. Does that happen all the time already? Shit, yeah. So one big thing I want you to come out of this class with is notice correlation when it's trying to be sold as causation. Politicians do it all the time, right? It drives me insane, and I'm like, if only more of us understood statistics, we wouldn't be freaking grifted by so many politicians.
Well, they want to teach us about mitochondria in the cell, not this.
Oh, okay.
That's,
What?
that's a joke about high school, sorry.
So real quick, are you guys kind of with me? So that would mean perfect correlation. It's just you cannot interpret that to mean that whatever the X variable causes the Y or the other way around. I don't know. That would be a different experiment. Yeah. Now, with all that said, correlation is still a really good study to do because that gives me an idea of what to dive deeper into, right? Okay, that's all I have.
Oh, yeah, just for the other two graphs on the positive side. So the tighter one would be closer to positive 0.9, and the weaker one would be closer to positive 0.5.
I've hidden them all. Which, sorry?
The bottom two.
Oh, these
graphs?
two?
Yes. That's
Yeah,
like
so this would
positive
be
0.9.
maybe, and this would be like 0.7 maybe or something, 0.6. If I was guessing. All right, so let's stop guessing. So I think everybody kind of gets the concept behind this. So I have a situation where I have two variables. I can make what's called a scatter plot. These are called scatter plots. And I'll show you how to make one in your calculator. These are called scatter plots, which is kind of nice. Huh?
Can you picture your calculator?
Totes.
Excel does it too.
Really?
Okay. Oh, here I put some other stuff. So correlation coefficient, Pearson product, of course, because Pearson wanted it named after him. My stats teacher's name was Pearson. He didn't try to pretend like he was like a great grandson. All right, so you can read the rest of it. One just says everything I already said. If you flip this over, this is a little snippet from the TI calculator guide that's up in Canvas.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, what's in
There's a lot
Canvas?
here.
What's
Huh?
in Canvas?
The TI calculator guide. I'm pretty sure it's up there. Let me know if it's not up there.
Never heard
I'm pretty sure it's up there. I'll take it. So there's a little snippet from there. Well, let's just do one of these together. The first thing I want you to do, okay, so what I've tried to do here is I've tried to recreate these pictures on the front. So can you guys please list one beers, list two grades. Oh, if you need a borrow calculator, come on up here. I just charged them. This should all be good. Thank you. Okay. So take a minute, put that data in. Do you ever want to sort that data?
Probably not, because it would screw up the X and Y coordinates.
Each row represents a person. If you sort the data independent, you tear the people apart. That's a little freaky. Don't do that. Right, this 0.5 goes with this 98, correct? That's a person. That's the beers they drank and the grade they got. If you sorted the second list, you would do two things. You would tear apart the people that represents, and you would also always get a perfect line because you would force it to go up. I don't know if you guys are with me or not. So do not sort either one of these. I gave it to you already sorted here because I was trying to be nice. Okay.
I'm not having a good day.
So go to stat edit. Let me know if you need any help with your lists.
our job where we kind of create this table next time?
So you say again? No. So you're gonna be given the data.
Like we're gonna be given this,
You're gonna be given the data.
no, the table or the graph?
The data. You're gonna be creating the graph.
Oh.
The graphs I gave for conceptual questions, for just to get the concept down, your problems are gonna look like this.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's all do this. You ready? Oh God.
Wait, hold on.
So everybody hit second y equals. See how it says stat plot above that? That seems very encouraging. I can't remember we've been here before. Go to plot 1. So first off, everybody do this for me. Is everybody here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So hit second y equals to get here. When you're here, hit number 4, enter.
Wait, number 4?
Number 4,
Okay.
enter. So when you're here, hit number 4, enter. It should say plots off, yes?
Yeah.
Just to make sure. Some people get calculators, people did a weird shit. Let's just turn it all off and start fresh. You guys with me? So hit second enter, all your plots to be off, yes? Don't worry about number 5, that's the button that turns them all on. So just don't hit that one. You don't want them all turned on. So go into plot 1. Turn that one on. Bam! Now just to point this out, look how evil your teacher is. Do you remember making the box plots?
Yeah.
No.
Pasta whisker. Do you remember making histograms?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? Alright, sorry.
Just trying to give us flashbacks for the whole.
Just trying to show you the manual is a good thing to look at.
Is it from here?
So if you have an auto calculator, you can't pick your color too bad. What am I feeling like today?
There you go. and then press on.
Purple.
I'm feeling green. Yeah.
Alright.
Wait, what color are we doing?
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
have a color.
You don't. It's too bad. I just said if you have an older calculator, you can't pick a color. You can pick a mark. So make sure your X list is L1. Make sure you have the scatter plot option picked. Yes.
How did you get to this?
All right. Second y equals.
Second y equals.
You should get here. Yes.
Yeah, enter.
Then hit enter,
On.
and then turn it on. So hit enter when you're over on. Everybody, make sure this is picked. This is the scatter plot. Yes. So you got this one picked. You should then have X list L1, Y list L2. Yes?
Yes.
Then you get to pick, are you a square? I am obviously a square.
Wait, what does that mean?
Nothing. I'm just a square because I teach math. You can be positive. So all this is the symbol that's going to put all the data points. That's all it is.
Oh, like instead of
You can be a
dot?
plus sign, you could be a big dot, you could be a small speck in the universe,
Oh.
right? It's up to you.
So say you just-
So I'm going to be a square. I'm going to be a green square, okay? I'm also going to be almost dead, I just noticed. Shite. Now, real quick, if you just hit graph, I get invalid dimension. Great. Why is that? I have nothing in,
Almost
I have nothing in any of
Oh.
those.
I got it.
Do I have anything in anything? No. Let me figure this out.
That's true. I started talking to you and you didn't finish.
L1, L2. Why is it giving me
You
that?
don't have any.
You don't have
You
the
don't,
L2.
your L2 is not
Your
popular.
L2 is not. There's nothing in it.
Oh, I haven't put that in there. Thanks.
That was my fault.
I'm just doing too much. Let me catch up. I thought I was doing great. Oh, while I'm doing this, I'm going to pretend like I meant to do this. As you're putting data in, just make sure, like when you put 68, make sure it's sitting next to 0.7. Because the worst thing in the world, and by the way, the error I just got, invalid dimension, means your lists aren't the same size. Obviously mine weren't, because they didn't have the second list in there. So let me catch up real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. What you got, Manuel? Do you have a question?
Oh, no, I'll start you.
Oh, sorry. 90 goes with 2.3. Yes.
Yeah, hit graph afterwards. Let's just do. What? No.
That one I said to turn the plots off at the beginning. Yeah. All right, now if I hit graph, I get this. And actually I get a little left over from my pre-calculus class.
Wait, how do you do it on this one? How do you make it graph?
Same thing. Hit the graph button,
Oh,
what to
because you
do.
have zoom.
Graph button.
So if you hit zoom,
Mine looks
and then
not
go
like
down
yours.
to.
Yeah, of course not.
Then it works.
Wait, what?
It's okay. Hang on, guys, hang on.
There's
Hang on.
I think that's the next step.
You're not supposed to look like mine. Alright, guys. One thing about these graphing calculators, guys. The window of the calculator. The way I like to look at it is when I put a function into the calculator, it exists. The window is like me in a submarine kind of find. So right now I'm looking at 0, 0, and it goes negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. If you guys did any weird graphing stuff or you're borrowing a calculator from me, yours could look vastly different, yes? Don't worry, this is not the way it's going to look at the end, yes?
So I am still not quite there yet. So I put everything in the data. I have.
Good.
I'm on the stats plot side.
Good.
I then click graph in the top right corner. Of my
Wait, did you do this? Turn this on.
Oh, we turn. Okay.
Make sure it's picked for the scatter plot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, everybody do these two things. Go to y equals. Mine's really weird. Sorry, because I was doing really weird stuff this morning.
Can you read all that?
Huh?
Like, do you know what all that means?
Yes. So anything you have in y equals, clear it, right?
What?
Anything that you have, when you hit the y equals button, anything you have, clear it. So go to it and hit the clear button. Okay. Second thing, I can tell the calculator to go find my data. So hit the zoom button. See how there's a zoom box where you can pick a box and you can zoom in on it, sort of like CSI Enhance. You can do all kinds of shit. Which one looks like it's good for our class?
Zoom in. Oh.
Zoom stat.
Oh, zoom stat.
So when you do that, you should get this.
Oh, how did you know how to do that?
I read it.
Why do we only have one color if we turn 2 on?
Because you only have one variable. Or, I'm sorry, you only have one data point, one type of data point.
Waller,
Yes.
do I have to remember that whole process? Or like, are you gonna give me instructions for that?
You have to remember how to get here, yes. So on the next quiz, and definitely on the final, we're not there yet, but you're gonna have to come up and show me on your calculator this. You're also gonna have to show me the line of best fit. So the next thing we're gonna do is how do we calculate the line of best fit? Has everybody got this showing on their calculator?
Yeah. So we only turn on plot 1. We're not turning on plot 2.
I gotta do this quickly before mine dies.
You want to borrow mine?
No, I can plug it in.
Oh, you play through? When is the next quiz?
I don't know.
I have to mention.
These things happen.
We have a contest with you every class. You're like, how many random questions can I ask?
No, that's
Per
just
session.
fine.
We'd be like from Uncle Buck and be like, how many, what's the record of consecutive random questions
What's
you asked before?
Guys, does anyone not get this to show up? Let me know.
It looks like that, but it doesn't look like that.
You should ask him what is that too.
Did you use different symbols?
You want me to ask you what?
No.
But
It's very
I
philosophical
already
of
did.
you. It's like, it looks like like Confucius.
Fine with my
Say
name.
like Confucius or something. It's like, it doesn't quite look.
Yeah, mine's not like.
To look like that or not look like that? Yes, that is the question.
Oh.
So it's, yeah. Depending on whoever used the calculator before you, they could add all kinds of weird shit in there. These are for me, so my pre-calc students are doing exceptionally weird stuff.
How many settings do you have for your window? I think that's what's.
No. No, it isn't. No, because if you hit zoom stat, it will set the window correctly. And as long as you've entered the data correctly, it should look like this.
Is your y equals section clear?
It is.
That won't affect the graph. What's it look like? What's the difference? Oh, neat. Yeah, what this probably means is one of your data points went crazy. Oh, I don't see it. Huh. Zoom 9. Oh, I don't know what you're doing. Zoom 9, right? Zoom 9. Zoom stat is Zoom 9.
So when you were on here and you turned this on,
Yep.
what if you turn another one on? What-
It'll try to do that plot, and if you have nothing for it, it'll freak out. So just do one plot at a time. Yeah.
But it's always plot 1 and you turn that on?
You could do any of the plots you want to. Just for us, you only need one at a time. If you're doing more advanced stuff, you might need more than one, but we don't have time to do more advanced stuff. So, yeah. So everybody's got this now, right? Okay. Now, so here's what's really funny to me. I'm gonna show you how to do all the stuff in the calculator, and people are gonna complain that they have to know how to do the calculator. I don't think you wanna know how to do the formula though, yes?
Yeah, no.
So I'm gonna let you do the calculator, you just have to remember how to do it in the calculator, right? So if I go to stat, I wanna calculate something now, correct?
Yeah.
What two things do I wanna calculate?
Mean and the standard deviation.
Good, in this case, they're called what?
A
The line of
Line of best fit.
best fit?
And,
And
correlation.
R.
Correlation coefficient, the R. So I would take the line and the R. I like it. Is everybody with me? Okay, so the trend line, you can think of it that way. And then the two-dimensional standard deviation, the R. Yes? Okay. So remind me, what was the guess for this? This was pretty weak. We were thinking like, is it positive or negative, the correlation? Negative. And we were thinking like negative 0.5, I think you said. Negative 0.4 or something like that. It's pretty weak. How can I tell? The data points are really far away from the line. Yeah? Alright, so let's calculate this damn line. Go to stat, calc. Which one looks like it would give me a line? There's two of them actually, which is really funny to me.
Line
A
right,
plus B.
A plus B.
Yeah. There's also this one. They hardwired, in case you don't like the letter A to be a slope, you can make the letter B be a slope.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I have no idea why this is here. Do you understand this is really dumb? If the slope is 7, here A will be 7, here B will be 7. Do you guys remember mx plus b?
Yeah.
So the number in front of the x is the slope. This is the y-intercept, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I always use number 4, just because. Now, every time I do this, alright, let's try. Hit number 4. I get this. It wants the x list, it wants the y list, it wants the freaky list. I don't have a freaky list. Don't worry about this shit, I'll tell you in a minute. Go to calculate. If you just get something that says lin reg on the screen, hit enter because it defaults to list 1, list 2. I know, so the older calculators are sometimes better. You guys with me? Either you have this and you tell it list 1, list 2, or you don't have this and you just hit enter because it defaults. Okay, now, is everybody with me now? Does everybody have a list starting with y equals ax plus b?
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody have that?
No.
Anybody not have, let me do this again.
We don't have R.
Don't worry about it. It's not, so, are some of you guys missing R?
Yes.
Okay, ignore. So you guys have y equals ax plus b, you have a, you have b. Is anybody missing a and b? Okay, just some people missing R, correct? Okay, good. So you guys is too bad. No, I'm joking. Go. Hit second 0. This is the catalog of everything this calculator can do. So for example, what do you think that first thing is?
Absolute 0.
It's an abs workout. No. Absolute value. Yeah. So everybody look at me. If you have your own calculator right now and you couldn't see R, what I'm about to make you do, you never have to do it again. You understand? It's really dumb that they have this as an option. They should just make it. So here, I want to get to the D section of this. So I'm going to go, see the letter, the button that's got a D on it, the matrix, and see the little D right there?
Yeah.
Hit that button, and then I'm going to jump to the D section.
Oh.
Notice it's got a day of the week function. That's all I'm going to say about it. Scroll, I'm sorry.
Did you do second?
I'll do it again. Hit second 0 for catalog. Then just see the button that's got the D on it? Hit that. You should be in the D section. Okay, now scroll down to diagnostic on. You only have to do this once. You with me? Hit enter, enter. So anticlimactic. Go back to stat, calc, number 4. Blah, 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 blah. And now everybody's R should be showing up.
And our R is not low enough to show correlation, it looks like.
That's what the word for it.
Oh,
Yes.
I was a little high. 0.3.
Okay.
How many decimals do you want?
So if you go second 0 for catalog, right? So you get this here list, right? Then hit this button here for the D section. Scroll down to diagnostic on. I think this is all in that handout too, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Enter. I could be wrong. It is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on here.
Look at past Jeff go.
Oh, 'cause you
Then if you hit
L2
stat,
and X,
calc,
your X is second,
linear
you
reg,
want L1 on that one.
you should get R now. Is that cool?
Just do second one, that changes it to L2, or L1.
What was it at?
Yes.
Okay.
So your X list was at L2, so you had X list of L2 and Y list of L2.
Oh, so it's L1 and.
Yeah.
So Martin said something interesting just a second ago. Whenever I give you a problem like this, I don't know what I was going to say this. I could make a complete hypothesis test out of this, where the R has to be good. So what I do instead is when I give you this kind of problem, I'm going to give you data just like in the table. You're going to put it in, you're going to make a scatter plot, you're going to find the line of best fit. How do I know if there's evidence that there's correlation? Is the R value has to be less than, if it's negative, or bigger than something. I'm always going to tell you what that number is. So for example, I could say R has to be bigger than 0.456 to show evidence of correlation. So if you get R equal to 0.5, is that evidence of correlation for that problem? If R has to be greater than 0.456, and I get 0.5, is that evidence of correlation?
Yes.
Is it strong correlation?
No.
No, because it's far from 1. But is it correlation?
Yes.
So it's weak correlation. I love it. What if I get R equal 0.3? No correlation. No evidence of correlation. Yeah? Could just be random happenstance that is sort of lined up somewhere a little bit. Yes? It may be. So I'll always give you that number. Okay. Can't remember. I say always, and I don't think I put it down here, did I? Oh, I did. Look at me go. Look at me go. So R has to be less than negative 0.532. Did we make it?
No.
Yes.
Yes. It has to be less than.
It has to be less than negative 0.532.
Negative 0.3 is not less than.
Negative 0.3 is closer to being positive than it is being below negative 0.5, yes?
This is backwards.
Okay, I like it. So for a number to be less than something else, it's going to be further left on the number line. Okay. Alligator, all that kind of stuff.
So it's weak negative correlation?
So this, no. This is no correlation. But let's do this. Can somebody tell me the equation of the line of best fit? It's staring you in the face. What's the slope?
Y is equal to
Negative 2.5.
Yeah, so let me write this down. The R was negative 0.339. Is it a strong correlation? Not a correlation. What kind is it? None. So Y equals, what's the slope again, sorry?
Negative 2.5.
Negative 2.535.
So you have to go to 3 decimal points.
Yeah, something. A little bit better. And then plus, is everybody with me? The A is the slope and the B is the number off by itself.
89.831.
89.831, yeah. You guys all with me? Okay. Alright, so everybody got that? You guys see that? By the way, let me say this, because I always forget to say this. Sorry. Remember what I said earlier? How many variables can go into somebody's grade?
A lot.
A lot. So we're only ever looking at 2 variables. See how it tells me R squared?
Yeah.
For some reason, it's like, why the shit does it tell me that? Well, here's why. R squared is the percentage change in the grade that's explained by the change in the number of beers. So 11% of the change is explained by how much beer somebody drank. Is that a big chunk of the change? Is that a big part of what's making this change? 11%. No. Something has a bigger effect. It would probably be the studying. It would probably be, I don't know, something else.
So
You
it's
guys-
11% that the
11% of the change in grades is explained by the different amounts of beers people drank. So, did we see the grades are different?
So 89%.
11% of the amount of differences is explained by how much beer somebody drank. Another variable could explain 20% of it. Another variable could explain 50% of it, right? So when you're trying to do something like help people get homes, right? We have a lot of people that don't have homes on the streets. Are you with me? You want to know what is it that's causing people to lose their homes in the first place. So you want to know what variables not only have the biggest impact on that, but that we can actually affect. So you'll do several analyses, and you'll see which variable has the biggest role to play, and then I'll say, what can I do to change that? Does that make sense? Okay. So for example, better healthcare would certainly be good. Mental health would be crazy, right? That was a weird way to say that. Are you guys kind of with me? Any kind of safety net to keep people from losing their home. Blah, 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 blah. You with me? Okay. So here's the ultimate great thing. You ready? Has everybody got the line written down? Go to y equals. Put this shit in there. Just to remind you guys, there's a negative button, there's a minus button. I want the negative button. Negative 2.535. Your X button is right there. See it? Right next to alpha. Here's your X button. 2.535x. See there?
Wait, do it again. I was looking.
X button is right there. Right next to stat. I'll say it that way.
Oh, okay.
Right next to the most important button is the X button. So ready with me? I'm just putting the equation in. Plus 89.31. Huh?
I'm pressing that button, but I'm getting a T.
Oh, you're in that weird mode that I was in. So if you're, I'm doing weird parametric equations in my. You're gonna have to re-put in stuff. Sorry about that. Does anybody else have the T showing up? Is everybody else good? That's a little.
You look defeated.
Huh?
You look defeated.
Well, because I know somebody else out there does, and they're not saying it, so I'm just gonna keep going.
Just a graph.
So that does make me feel a bit defeated.
I hope
Somebody out there is just like, whatever, I don't care.
I hope the break next semester goes okay for you, since you're not teaching stats next semester.
You're not teaching stats next semester?
I don't think so. Yeah, I've only taken one semester off from teaching stats in the last 20 years.
Wow.
We're gonna miss you.
So I'm gonna get my second break this coming.
We caused you to put stats.
Freaking guilty. I'm sorry I broke the conspiracy. My friend was trying to register for the course. He's like, I don't see it. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I almost always teach stats, but I mean, it just worked out that way. Hit graph now and no Tori. No.
Tori's asking the real questions.
Whoa. Yeah. Wait, what are you in? What's your question?
So look at this line real quick. Would you say, here's the idea.
Go to y equals.
Is the distance from the line to every point averaged out?
That whole thing in there. -2 of the whole lot. And then that.
Guys.
That for your x.
This is also sometimes called, so the best fit line is sort of his nickname, but it's the official kind of nickname. The really technical name for this is least squares line. So if I take the distance from the line to every point and make that and I make all these different lines, the one that has the least squared distance total to every point is the line of best fit. So it's kind of a quicker way to say that is it's the closest to all the points. That's basically what that means. So that is the line that gets the closest possible to every point. So if I moved it a little bit, it might get closer to one point, but then further away from several more, so it makes it worse. Okay. So can you see this is very good evidence that this is a weak-ass correlation. Actually, we found out that it's no correlation.
The slope is just not very.
It's actually more evidence that it's just random scattering of data points. So I want you guys to do everything we just did. Last thing I want to say, if you use the line of best fit to make a prediction, what do I mean by that? What if I said, what if I
You
drank,
got x.
huh? What if I drank 3.5 beers? What grade would I make? I could put a 3.5 in for X, right? I need you to understand. The beers were the X's, correct?
Yep.
And the grades were the Y's. So if I want to say, what if I drank 3.5 beers? What grade could I expect? I could plug 3.5 in for X, yes? But would I trust what I get? Did we find correlation?
No, because there's no correlation.
I would not trust it, no. I would not trust the prediction it would make. So, you guys do everything we just did, but you do it for this one.
Could you equally be given a problem where they give you the number of beers, but it's not in your data, you plug it in for X, and then you need to predict the Y? Or would that not?
If it's not within your data, you cannot use the line. That's why I picked the number in the middle. So if you try to predict it for like 5 beers, you can't do it. The line only works for within the data it's given.
Right, so but could you do 3.5 beers, which is not a data point, but within.
That's what I just
bounds?
said. Yeah, 3.5 beers.
No,
Plus
I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant you're given a beer number to put in for X, but you're not told the 89.831, or that doesn't work. You can't predict it.
No, I have to know the equation to be able to use it. Yeah.
That's a weird. Okay, gotcha.
All right. Let me see if I remember to put all the data in this time. Dadgummit. it. So remember, every now and again, stop and make sure you're putting a number next to the right number, you know, so it sucks to get to the bottom of the list and they're not the same size. You're like, oh shit, what did I forget?
It's like dealing with the button, I'm sure.
So, wow. Take those glasses off. So you guys are still putting data, I'll let you keep going. By the way, if you ever seen the corner of the board, have you guys seen the corner of the board where it says sometimes, call this number for summer work for college students?
Oh, it's the scanner.
Well, some of them are scam and some of them are data entry jobs. So you can work from home, but you gotta just sit there putting data in forever. Somebody's gotta put the data in. And normally that's the plebs. Little peons get to do that.
They're gonna find out the hard way. They get AI to try to do data entry,
Yeah,
and it starts scanning the page incorrectly.
pretty much.
It should.
Or it becomes self-aware and starts to mess with us.
Come with me if you want to.
How many decimal places do you want for R? 3?
3 straight. So if I hit graph right now, a couple things could happen. That line is no longer true, correct?
Yep.
And I get one data point because I didn't tell the calculator to look for my data, did I?
What?
So here's what I mean. I'm gonna go to y equals, I'm gonna clear it. I'm gonna go to zoom, and I'm gonna pick which one.
Zoom stack.
Anytime you put new data into the calculator, it's not gonna automatically move its window. Because it doesn't know that's what we want it to do. We gotta tell it, hey, could you move over and look at my data? Would you guys agree? I try to make it look the same as that. I got kind of close.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just go with it. All right, keep going. I want you to get the line of best fit. I want you to get R. I want you to get the line of best fit to show up on the screen. That's what you would come up and show me on the test or something.
What defines a strong correlation in terms of distance
What's
from
that?
one or negative one? How close does it need to be
It's
to be?
usually-
We'll talk about
Wait, wait, wait.
When
it.
I
On a test or quiz, I think around this a little more time. Is it?
Did
I was
get to the
confused
window
while you were
again?
saying it.
I don't know what I got.
Oh, hit second mode.
Second mode.
That's your get out of anything.
Okay.
No, just hit zoom 9. Zoom at the top.
Oh, zoom.
Oh yeah, go to y equals.
Uh-huh.
And is that, what is that?
Oh.
Is that from before?
No, this.
That's this one? So something
No,
went
no,
wrong.
that's
from
That's
before.
the last one.
So clear that, yeah, we're gonna overwrite that. Because this is positive correlation, yes? So of course the old line went down, we gotta put the new line in there. How do I get the line of best fit in the R? Where do I go?
Count.
That
Stan,
Count.
count,
4.
4. Let's do some of you guys again. Don't have to worry about this. I'll show you. Let me show you this. You don't have to do this. We didn't use this before, did we? And we did the whole problem. Everything was great. Yes? But just to show you. See where it says store? By the way, the reg is regression. So this is called linear correlation. It's also called regression to the line. Regression. Linear regression is just, if I do have a correlation in a set of data, if I get a large enough sample, the data points will regress to the line. It'll show me that it is. If I get too small of a sample, it could be crazy. But as I get a bigger sample, they should regress to the line. That's what we call linear regression. It doesn't matter. So that's what this reg means. Store reg equation. I can actually tell the calculator, so I don't have to put it in myself, to store the equation in there for me in the Y1. So how do I do that? I hit variables. See the variables right there? Bars, hit variables. Y variables, function, Y1. I'll do it again. So if I want to do this, you don't have to do this. I can hit variables, Y variables, function, Y1. Now if I calculate, it'll do this again, but it will automatically put the formula in there and it'll like go insane on the not rounding. You with me? So it put that in there for me. So if I just go to graph now, it's going to be perfect. Look at that. That's perfect.
But we'll be expected to round to like 3 or 4 decimals.
Yeah, if you do it by hand, so you don't have to do any of what I just did. Didn't we go to y equals and then we just put it in by hand before?
Yeah.
You can do that. I just want to show you something that this really freaking expensive calculator can do. Let me go back to this. Okay. R, is there evidence of correlation?
Yes.
Yes. Because it's bigger than 0.456. Now here's the thing. On a test or a quiz, I will give you an obviously weak correlation or an obviously strong correlation. So it'd be like 0.5, that's weak. 0.93, that's strong. 0.737,
In the middle.
it's like kind of okay. You know, so I'm not going to make you figure out how to do the wine sommelier thing and go, it's strong with hints of weakness. No, it's just, I'm going to give you a definitive strong weak. This one, it's middle of the road,
Okay.
decent. Yes?
You could mess with us
It
and give us
works.
one that has no correlation because it's below the number that you come up with.
No, I could, and that would be kind of nice because then most of the answers would be can't do. So,
Not most, just the one question.
well, some of them, yeah. So is this a strong correlation?
Yes.
Sort of. Decent, I would say. Now, to be honest, if I have real life data and I get a 0.737R, I'm like, holy shit, because in real life, all kinds of shit can make it wobble around. So if I get 0.7, I'm like, that's good. Okay. So this is decently strong.
It's positive, right?
Positive correlation. So when I say what kind of correlation is it, that's strong or weak, positive or negative, right? What is it, strong? Is it positive or negative? Yes? The equation for the line of best fit was 0.657x.
X plus
And 70.968 or 7.
6.7, yeah. Alright, so we already got that in there. If you use the line of best fit to make a prediction, would you trust it?
Yeah.
Yes! Cool. The closer R is to 1, the more I trust it. But the minute there's any correlation at all, I trust it more than just giving an average. So if I told somebody on this first set of data, if somebody wants to predict, what if I get 3.5 beers? The best I could do is just give them the average grade. The best I could do. What's my best guess? What's the point estimate? What is my best guess for somebody's grade? The average grade. That's the best guess I could do. In any situation, what's the best guess? The average. What the line of best fit does is if there is a correlation present, I can improve on that. I can plug points into the line and make a better prediction. So in this case, did I give a problem?
Yeah. You said
Look at me
11.
go. Gosh, Jeff, man. You're making up for all the shit you've done in the past. Would you trust it? Yes. predict the grade for somebody who studied 11 hours. Okay, is 11 X or Y? Are the hours X or Y?
It's gonna be X.
X. This is first, just like an XY table. Yes? So I'm going to replace X with 11. That's crazy sauce. So what do you get?
78.194.
78.194. I like it. Yeah, and if you look at the, I'm sorry.
Can you go up?
Yeah, sorry. Let me zoom out a bit. Does everybody understand how that came about? So I'm going to ask you to make a prediction. You just plug that number in the right place. In this case, 11 was X because hours is X. Yes? I could give you a grade and you have to plug it in for Y and do a little algebra. Oh shit. Now let me show you one thing. Did we get the answer? Did we get the answer?
Yeah.
Yes, I love the way you let up. You're like, I don't know. So that's the answer, correct? I'm about to show you
What is it?
another way to get that same answer. Yes? Technologically. Stupid calculator knows the line, doesn't it? So watch this. If you hit second
Are you gonna trace?
trace to go to calc, first option, value. It's going to say, what do you want X to be? I want X to be 11, right?
Oh, did that hit?
Everybody perks up when something good happens. So go to second trace to go to calc. I want to calculate the value of something. I want to calculate the value when X is 11. Enter. Now, of course, this is not magic or shit. The calculator knows the line of best fit, so it just plugs the 11 in like we did, but I might as well make it do it. Yes?
Can you do one where you're gonna ask us to predict the grade, so can you do an algebra one?
Oh, if you want to predict, okay, that one gets a little more complicated on the calculator.
No, like on paper, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so if I said, how many hours do you have to study to make what?
80.
An 80. Okay. So if I said, how many hours do you have to work, have to study to make an 80? Right?
You're just plugging it in the opposite way. You're just plugging
So plug an 80 in for Y. Subtract the 70, divide by 0.675, right? Just do a little algebra.
Now on the calculator.
Huh?
Now do it on the calculator.
Oh, calculator's more complicated.
It is?
Yes. Because I can't tell it for a Y value. If you're really interested, if I go in and I let Y equal 80, I can then tell it to get the intersection of those two lines. Yes? So if I tell it second calc intersection, you're never going to have to do this, by the way, everybody. You with me? Just because somebody was interested. If I put the cursor right on the answer, enter, 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 there. 13.7 hours. Does that mean that if you study 13.7 hours, you will make an 80?
No.
Nope. This is our best guess based on the data we were given, correct? That's the mistake people make, is they do correlation analysis and then they go, oh cool, let me do this and then I'll do it, and then it didn't happen, because you're an idiot. No, this is not what it's saying. It doesn't mean, so does this mean, does any of our, did we find correlation?
Yes.
Yes. Does that mean if I study longer hours, I make a better grade? Nope. How do we, don't we have other information though? Don't we believe that if you study more, you will make a better grade? Because we have more information than just what we know from the study, correct? We have real life examples of this happening. Okay. But in general, if I'm studying something unknown and I see a correlation, I have no idea if one caused the other to change or if something else is happening or if it's just a fluke. I have no idea. Okay. Is everybody with me on that? So what I'm going to want to see on a quiz or a test is you're going to come up and show me this picture on your calculator. And I'm going to put my initials on your paper in a certain colored pen. Okay. Yes?
If you don't get that, are you gonna count it wrong, or?
Yeah, if you don't get me to sign off, then that you lose points on that problem. Yeah, so part of what I need to see you able to do is to create that.
We don't get like a second chance, I guess, to like.
You can make corrections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which involves you showing me after the fact, yeah. Does it make sense? But on the test itself, you will lose points if you don't show it to me, because I have to assume you didn't know how to do it. Yeah, okay.
You'll be walking around.
What?
Like everybody's gonna be like, look, look, look.
Oh, I see, yeah. I'm always curious if somebody's just gonna give somebody else their calculator, and it's a different version of the test, and I'm like, what is that? So be very careful. There are-
Wrong plot.
I love it when people do that, it's so easy, but I like to see the creativity in cheating, and you gotta be innovative, work hard.
Don't
Takes a lot of work.
Don't inspire.
No, it's a lot of work, it takes a lot of work. So maybe just learn it in the first place.
The irony when you see someone put a lot of effort to cheat.
Alright guys, I'm the teacher, I say that's enough. I'm so tired, so,
Jen, yes.
yes.
What other math classes do you teach?
R squared.
Next semester I'm teaching calculus, teaching.
But for today.
But for today, we're not.
Because they're into it.
I got an email.
Yeah,
From the professor said they're trying to get rid of like the trig and the
Yes.
fees from that class.
Yeah. They're trying to get rid of, they've already gotten rid of the retail.
Yeah.
They are now trying, not just trying, they're going to.
Give it up.
So, if you come to Grossman, if you go to any community college in California, you want to date or step, you must start with calculus. No math, well, let me rephrase. Some math departments I get a lot of rewards, and they like that. They don't give a
No, I hear myself.
shit. They're very professional. They sold it. They sold it. I'll get a student in like top 2 class, that's what they're top 1, and they don't reach it. They stop like 3 chapters short, and you know, which is good to use, so I think it is not being professional.
See the red button.
But it's really, I guess I'm gonna come here to apply next year.
Well, you want me to stop the
You know,
recording?
I'm doing a little bit like, wait a minute, where did you take? Oh, so and then I have to basically teach them.
Their standard is a little bit not.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's
all.
fine.
It's just, it's just too much, and it's hard to say.
That doesn't look right enough.
Yeah, I get you.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, all
Yeah,
you did was.
for insurance.
Oh, it was a crack wrong.
Yeah.
That's all you did.
That'll-
Same one.
80 minutes.
But like, because there's
Which
no
makes sense,
way-
because your finals gotta be.
You got a different version, your pocket's
All the way
complete.
down to an A minus.
Yeah.
It's only, so the weird thing is that you got the price of their finals for 25%.
Right.
And you're gonna go in with 75%, so it's 1/3 as strong as your grade that you have when you go in.
Right.
So it's a little weird to see it can be that low and it just pulls you down like by 4 points.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. This is a very exciting part of the video.
And then